Hi, this is Cezanne Poetess. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of my Her story. But before I get into it, I'd just like to share why I left England, because by the time I get into it in this vlog series, it will probably just seem so small and insignificant. Now, this isn't just my Her story, because if it was, I'd just keep it to myself. But this has been happening to many of us, and many of us have ended up in the mental health system as a result. My first encounter with the mental health system was in 2018, after I almost committed suicide due to a psychic attack. I spent a month in a psychiatric ward, and during that time, they tried to get me to take their antipsychotic drugs. Because I wasn't sectioned, they couldn't force me, so of course I refused. But I did ask to read the leaflet that comes with the drugs. And I was horrified to see the list of different side effects to this drug. And one of them was even suicidal thoughts. But you know what? I was grateful for that experience because it gave me the opportunity to have an inside look into the mental health system. And from my observation, it had nothing to do with helping people heal their mind. It was more about turning them into service users. I don't know anyone that's been in and out of the mental health system and made a full recovery. Do you? They always seemed to have a relapse just when they thought they were getting better and tried to wean themselves off the medication. So that was my first bout with the mental health system in 2018. My second bout was after I published my video about meeting the goddess in February of this year. It was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life, like when I used to enjoy spending time in God's presence as a Christian back in the day. So I'm not saying God doesn't exist or that there's only a goddess. As I said in part 1, it takes both the masculine and feminine energies to procreate. Think of God like the protector of the goddess. So the only way to get to the goddess is through God. Now, I know you Christians are going to say, but the only way to get to God is through Jesus. But what if the only way to get to the goddess is through God? Now, some might say God didn't do a very good job of protecting the goddess any more than black men did a good job of protecting the goddesses here on earth. Anyway, I came under another huge attack, and this time on the 27th of March of this year, it started with me falling in the street really badly. Now, if you know anything about DEW attacks, direct energy weapon attacks, they can make you do things like that. Anyway, I fell in the street really badly, damaged my knee and my elbow. The elbow actually came out of the socket and then it popped back in, but I was in so much pain. And for 2 months, I literally could not even walk or use my arm. And it was during this period, while I was in excruciating pain, that my mind was being bombarded with all these negative thoughts. They were trying to get me to kill myself again. But this time, because I knew the thoughts weren't mine, I didn't act on them. But they did get me to get rid of my paintings, which was another suggestion that was planted in my mind. So it's like the thoughts were just coming so fast. Like, you might as well just get rid of those paintings. You might as well kill yourself. Nothing you do is working. It was just constant bombarding in my mind. So obviously I didn't kill myself, but I did get rid of all my paintings, and I donated my painting of the goddess to a black women's charity. I was forced out of the place I was renting. I had very little money. So as you can imagine, I was not in a good place mentally. I'd really hit rock bottom again. I was down, but I was not out. A friend drove me to Glastonbury and left me in an off-grid community for a week where I lived in a tent. And while I was there, I got a call from a government agent at the job centre who tried to coerce me into saying that I was having suicidal thoughts. And before I knew it, they'd sent an ambulance to where I was staying in this off-grid community to take me for assessment. Assessment. Luckily, we were on about 20 acres of land, so they would never have been able to find me. But if they had taken me for assessment in the mental state that I was in at that time, and with my history of almost committing suicide, they would have definitely sectioned me and drugged me up. The only way I was able to get out was by taking out a government loan to do a uni course. And as soon as that money hit my account, I booked a flight and left the country the following morning. I didn't even tell my 3 sons that I was leaving because I could not risk my plans being intercepted. So I've been in Egypt now for almost a month, and I spent the first 3 weeks just recalibrating my brain. Now I can think straight, I have clarity of mind, and now I'm coming back to myself. That's why I'm sharing my her story. Because many of you are experiencing the brain fog, the intrusive thoughts, the mind control, and you have no idea that your government are using covert technology against you. So the theme of this vlog series is Black women and mental health, because there are particular targeting programs aimed specifically at Black women. And a lot of what we perceive to be mental health is actually this technology being used against us. I'll go into more detail about this later in the blog series, but if you think you may be targeted in this way, drop me a comment below. Now, this isn't about having a victim mentality. I think the reason we're targeted is because we're special. If they could have killed me, I'd be dead already. That's why they've been trying to get me to kill myself. Now, the reason I want you to read or listen to my novel, Journey of a Sister, is because at the time of writing it in 2010, I still had my natural ability of being able to communicate with the spiritual realm. So 46,000 words of the novel was channeled naturally. And the paintings that I painted and that illustrate the book were also, some of them were visions that I saw naturally. But in 2016, another tech attack shut down my natural ability and I stopped getting visions and downloads. So in my next video, I'm going to share why I think I was targeted right at the beginning of my awakening in 2001. In the meantime, you can just read or listen to Journey of a Sister. Even if you read one of the first 2 editions, the 3rd edition has some new scenes in it that weren't in the previous 2 editions. So it's definitely worth doing the journey again and re-familiarizing yourself with the story. So I'll put the link to the playlist for you to listen to the audiobooks free on this channel. But I must warn you that I did set my inner child free, and as the adult, I need to warn you about the graphic sex scenes. In fact, let me just do part 2 of my poem, My Artist Child. My inner child is wild and free. She has no boundaries. When I decided to set her free, I knew it would cost me my privacy and anyone who's had anything to do with me. So if that's you, I'm sorry. She sits in the seat of my subconscious mind, observing all I'm doing. Then she turns my experiences into a song, story, or poem. And she's left me, the adult, to deal with all the drama she creates. She doesn't know where to draw the line. I know I should be embarrassed, but to be honest, all I keep seeing are pound signs. So please share this video, leave me a comment below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to help me get to my first 1,000 subscribers, because that would help me tremendously, especially as I'm not on government handouts anymore. And if you would like to support my work as an exchange of energy, you can send me a love gift via PayPal, and I'll put the link below. So thank you, I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.
Journey of a Sister is the story of a young woman born in England, totally disconnected from her ancestral roots. She doesn't remember who she is as a Black woman and is suffering from a self-identity crisis. Raised in the faith, she's reached a point where she's questioning what she was taught to believe. In year 1, Cezanne writes a fearless letter to her maker, which leads to her meeting her twin soul, Charles. Her religious beliefs threaten the spontaneity of their relationship. He informs her that she's a displaced African and offers to help her find her way back home. In Year 2, Cezanne helps Charles awaken his inner child, and he helps her undo her indoctrination. She commits to using her gift of writing poetry to help free her people from mental slavery. In Year 3, Cezanne learns how to meditate in order to nip her negative thoughts in the bud. Meanwhile, Charles paints his first collection. In Year 4, Cezanne refuses Charles's proposal, which leads to a breakup. She learns how to honour her feelings with the goddess theory. In Year 5, Cezanne wins a poetry competition, and in Year 6, she writes a poem using the law of attraction to help her manifest her perfect match. In Year 7, Charles reappears, but things will never be the same again. They agree to share space and move in together. In Year 8, they finally start their business. Neither of them believe in profit without purpose, so they design ways for their business to benefit their whole community. In Year 9, Charles proposes again, and this time Cezanne accepts. They finally tie the knot in Year 10, and in Year 11, through a twist of fate, Cezanne finally discovers the true meaning of the word love. Year 12 is a flashback of Year 11, and in Year 13, Charles fulfills his sole purpose of helping Cezanne make her Sankofa to her motherland. Start your journey of self-discovery by downloading Year 1 free at journeyofassister.com. Over 18s only. If you prefer to listen to the audiobooks, the link is below this video and the first audiobook is free.